Hey everybody, and welcome to another piano video here at the Merriam Pianos YouTube channel. Today we're unboxing Roland's FA-08, a very cool, very interesting arranger keyboard, stage piano, kind of an amazing all-in-one unit, and today is going to be my first chance to actually ever see one. It has been on the market for a couple of years, but it's still very much a relevant product that a lot of people love, a lot of people use, so we're going to have our first look at it today. And we've left it in the box so that we can see it right from the very moment that we open the tape and crack open that cardboard. So thanks so much for joining us. If it's the first time to the channel, we would really appreciate it if you subscribed. It helps us to keep content coming to you, and we hope you leave a comment as well. Let us know what you think of the video. So without further ado, let's get started with this unboxing video for the Roland FA-08. So there are a few reasons why we're starting to review some more synths here on the channel. One is that we are getting more of those customers looking for those kinds of products. So as a store, we're really starting to branch out almost as with equal digital representation as with acoustic piano representation, which I think is great. I think it's a whole other half of the piano universe that customers can experience when they come in, depending on, you know, which part they hail from before they came into the store. But another reason is more of a personal one. My background before arriving into the piano business was as a full-time studio touring musician, and I lived and breathed synths and workstations and all those things for years and years and years, and it's something that I got away from a little bit for the last several years, but have started diving back into, and I'm really enjoying getting to know all of the new tech that's out there in 2020, from the software to the hardware, the controllers. We're going to be doing a video with some of the Roland Seaboard stuff, and of course today we're dealing with the Roland FA-08. This is not a new product. I know it's not a new product before that winds up in the comments. I think this has been out for 5 or 6 years. It came out 2015 or so. I know that the most recent version is the full Fantom, which we may also get to on the channel within the next little while. But the FA-08 remains relevant, and it remains a really great in-between point. It kind of bridges the divide between the most up-to-date modern workstations and what you can get in a stage piano today, both in terms of functionality as well as price, which is great because the top-of-the-line workstations are really starting to edge up more like closer to the 4,000 plus range, where most stage pianos are going to be more in the $2,500 range and $2,000 range. So this is a nice halfway point. This is also an unboxing video. We just got this from Roland. It's the first time we're going to be carrying the FA series. And since everybody seemed to enjoy the last RD-88 unboxing, we're doing it again. So I've got my trusty scissors, and we're going to crack this baby open for the first time, and we'll see what we get. Like we did the last time, we're going to give a few quick impressions, get it set up, just play around. I will say this is a completely authentic unboxing in that not only is this a fresh unit, but I personally have never been in front of an FA-08 unit before. Not once, not even at NAMM, nothing. So this is going to be a fresh look for me. Hopefully it's enjoyable and fun for you as well. So let's get this unboxing underway. Okay, so we've got it out of the box. And we've got a whole bunch of little tiny electronic looking stuff. Probably the power supply. Yes, indeed, is the power supply. We've got our instruction manual. I will probably be my stubborn self and not try and look at this for as long as humanly possible. We'll see if it's enough to get through the full review. And it looks like some French labeling, possibly. Not sure. Have to crack this open and see what it is. But of course the main event is what we've got right here in front of us.
How heavy is that feeling?
So I haven't looked at the specs to know how heavy that is, but my guess is it feels sort of in the 50-pound range, 45, 50 pounds maybe. It's definitely lighter than my RD2000. And that's probably because, pretty sure that's a PHA-4 action. The PHA-50 is a heavier action. Oh, yeah. Very attractive board. I realize this might be a little bit cheesy, but I actually really enjoy the accent colors. That's pretty cool. Something tells me they probably light up when this thing is powered on as well. Lots of ports in the back that we're going to be taking a look at. 3-pedal controller. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, this looks like exactly the same output as what the ports rather, as what you get on the RD-88, except for this has a sub output. And it's got a either a guitar input or a line input, so you can sort of switch the impedance level on the line and then level control. But anyway, a very, very pretty looking machine. Give us a minute or two. We're going to get this all powered up, get it on a stand, and let's get some first impressions and really start listening to this for the first time. Okay, we've got this wired up in a basic form. We've got stereo line outs coming to you through our interface so you can get the sound nice and cleanly. And I'm sitting in front of the FA-08 for the first time. This reminds me so much of my Roland Fantom X8, which is going back quite a few years. It's interesting to see how much of the heritage still carries through some of these products, because I believe the X8 would have been like 2002, 2003. So this predates this by what, 13 years, and that was what, 17 or 18 years ago that the X8 came out. But we still have the 16 pad sort of assignable triggers over here. We've still got some of that core functionality that always makes these Roland workstations really just so much fun to work with. The rhythm pattern is nice and easily accessible here. Your sequencer. The layout is taking me a minute or two to kind of sort out in my head, because some of the things are quite intuitive, some of them are a little less intuitive. But given that in 15 minutes I'm more or less finding my way around this machine, is a sign that most people are going to be able to find their way around this machine, I think, pretty quickly and pretty easily. Something that's become very popular with pianos of all kinds, workstations, stage pianos, home digital, is some kind of a panic button. I'm not seeing a panic button on here. When I say panic button, I mean, piano only or back to a default setting, because there's so many times in a live playing situation where you might get disoriented, you might hit something, you don't even know what you hit, and you really just need to, gain super immediate control of your 88 note keys and have it just be a basic instrument. So that's kind of the only thing right off the bat that would have been kind of cool to have. Also just like a single button to get back to just single tone selection, because you can get there certainly by just pressing over in your keyboard section here. You can make sure that the split and the dual is off, and you can get back to just a single note. But anyway, I'm really nitpicking. My overall, and that is an octave lower than I want it to be, I believe. Yep. So here's my there we go. A few other things I'm noticing right away. They give you the option to pick which tone generator or tone engine you're using for some of these, because this has got a rhythm supernatural engine in it. It's got a piano supernatural engine. It's got the E-piano supernatural engine. There's several different sound engines in here which give you that nice combination of sampling with some modeling, filling in the gaps, as I heard another reviewer describe it, which is, I think that's a pretty good way to put it. Essentially, there's only so much interactive nuance that you can film when you're sampling an individual note. If you're making a recording of a middle C on its own, there's no way that you can know what sort of harmonics are going to be associated with that if you all of a sudden play it with an F sharp as well. So or there's also no way to accurately simulate the difference between you pressing the pedal down really, really heavily and lightly. I mean, you wind up with these gigantic sample banks that are just impractical to load. So the Supernatural does a few things, which is it packs in a core, really high quality sample. And then on top of that, it surrounds you with a whole bunch of editable parameters so that you can customize the sound yourself. But that control is also made possible because all of those extra nuances are being simulated on top of the sample. That's basically what Supernatural engine is. But it's also got PCM, which I think is pulse control modulation is what PCM stands for some of the other general MIDI 2 sounds that are in here. But let's just back the whole thing up to the 100,000 foot level, because I'm not even into the full review and I'm already just diving straight into the weeds. My first impressions of the FA-08 is this appears to be an incredibly fun workstation to work with. I love the key action. I haven't even looked, but I'm quite sure that this is the PHA-4 action because I'm so used to how it feels on the Roland FP series. So I hope I'm not wrong on that. I really like how they've got the sampler laid out. I really like how they've got all of your assignable knobs right here. I can see that it's got the option for DAW control. So if you're using DAW software that's got assignable, auto assign controls, that's really great because you're able to hook this up to software instruments and just go to town. The D-beam, probably something I've never really been able to make a lot of use out of, but I've seen people who make really crazy good use out of the D-beam. That is like an infrared, it's like an infrared, I guess it kind of triangulates what's going on between two beams and figures out how far away your hand is, and then that affects the sound. So like you can hear. Wow, that's really sensitive. I don't know how you'd use the solo synth, but I know you can go in and edit those sounds, you can do that. But you can also have it so that you assign the D-beam to be an expression. So maybe you could assign like a certain high pass filter on that or a certain LFO setting on that. A couple of interesting things. Nice, bright, easy to navigate control screen, which is cool. A sequencer, which appears to be really, really easy to use. And possibly most importantly of all, the sounds still stand up. This is a 5-year-old product, but you would not know that this is a 5-year-old product. The FA-08 is still very much a super relevant machine from everything I could see. I would have a ton of fun with this on stage. So let's do a little bit of playing on this, just sample a couple of quick sounds, and then we're going to leave this video. I'm going to spend another, 2-3 hours with this thing just geeking out hard. We're going to get Lee back. We're going to film the full review. And so for people who are really considering this or just interested in knowing, my thoughts on this particular workstation, if you're in the market for a workstation, then you're going to want to check that video out. So let's do some quick playing on this so you can get a sample of what this is sounding like. And then I'm going to spend another few hours in front of this really kind of just geeking out. We're going to get Lee back. We're going to film the full review so that people who are in the market for a workstation and the FA-08 might be on your list of possibles, I'm going to share with you everything I possibly can, thoughts on why this might or might not be a good choice for you. I've got you know, it's an entirely open book for me right now, but I'm excited to dive in. So let's give you a few quick samples of what this thing sounds like, and then we'll be back for a full video with the review. As always, that's a really nice E-piano sound. Cool. So going through some strings here. That's cool. That's kind of cool. Very interesting.
What about that lever on the far left?
So that's just a standard XY beam. So that's what that does. So before anybody gets too bored to death, and before I get completely lost in my own thoughts exploring this, we're going to leave you with that unboxing video. Please come back and check out the full review of the FA-08, where we're going to dive in every nook and cranny of here. And like I said, I'm just going to share with you as much of my thoughts as I can. Hopefully it's useful to those of you who just love this category or possibly are in the market for a workstation. Again, this has been the Roland FA-08. You've been at the Merriam Pianos YouTube channel. My name is Stu Harrison. We'll see you back really shortly.